Hi, I'm Jason, and I'm one half of the team who've made Enderain. Amy is the other half of the team, but I'm the one who's sitting here doing this. We just wanted to do a quick video to show you what you actually get, because we don't want people to think that you're just getting a book when you order the game, because it's far more than that. You're getting a game kit for your money, everything you need to run a game of Enderain in a way that you just don't get with most other rules. So when you place your order on the Enderain website, you will get this box through your door, which will be expertly packaged by Amy. She's going to be managing all the mail order and customer service side of things. And in it, you will have the following. So, the first thing you'll have is this hard plastic tracker. Made of acrylic, if you can see that. Nice and deep, and it's designed to take 10mm dice. This is optional, but the idea behind including this is we've got fed up when we did our initial play testing with having dice all over the table to mark wounds, and I think that's the same in a lot of tabletop war games where you have counters everywhere and you'll move a figure and then it's like, well, who did that belong to and what was that? And it just becomes a pain. And it's the same with experience. If you need to build up experience points in a campaign type game, then you've still got to do something. You've got to manage it on a sheet of paper or use dice. It just becomes a problem. So we've put this little plastic tracker together to manage everything. There'll be a video on how to use this should you want to, but basically you lay it beside the game and you can mark your wounds on that side, and you can mark gained experience points there. Obviously, if you pick it up, the dice will fall out of the bottom, but there's nothing to stop you sticking a bit of cardboard or plastic card onto the underside to make it transportable around the table. So you get that. And the next thing you get is a pack of cards. Okay, these ones are sealed, but this is the ones that we are using. So you get your pack of cards, and in it are 38 cards that run the game. How we've done this is, rather than just having that boring thing you get in a game where you just start each turn by, oh, we'll roll for initiative. Okay, I've got an 8, you've got a 9. You know, it's just boring. So what we've done is we've made this the initiative card deck. So you get a hand of cards at the start of the game, and as you can see, they've all got numbers on them. 1 is the lowest and 30 is the highest. So 1 is first in order, 30 would be last in order. And you all play your cards simultaneously, and so would NPCs, and that defines the order you go in that turn of the game. Now obviously you may be thinking, well, okay, so I just play the lowest card and go first. But it's not that simple, because the cards also all have an optional benefit that you can play any time. So you can play a free action card to get a free action in the game. You can play a fortune roll card to re-roll any test you make in the game. And you also have a cancel activation card, which allows you to cancel an activation from one of your opponent's characters or an NPC. On top of that, you've also got the fact that some of your characters can have special powers. They can be physical powers, mental powers, or special forces. And each of the cards that you can use them on has got a relevant icon. So that one is physical. So if you've got a physical power for one of your characters and you want to use it that turn, then your initiative card has to include that icon. So what you've got is a conflict of 3 different things that you could use the card for. So suddenly that number isn't the only reason you'd want to use that card. So card management priorities come into play. There's also 2 event cards, which allows you to build in events as they trigger. So you can say, right, when an event card comes out, then we trigger this. And there's also some wild cards as well. You get 1 per player shuffled into the deck, and also the tactics specialist role allows you to get wild cards at the start of the game, which can be played as anything. So you get the card deck. You're also going to get a pair of dice. These are custom dice, and they run the NPCs, the non-player characters. Obviously, if you're not using them, then you don't have to put them in. But we're quite proud of these, because we've never seen anything like this in a tabletop war game. Usually with tabletop war games that have NPCs, it's Okay, they can see me, so they can move towards me and shoot or fire. And it's like, really? Okay. And you also know that if you hide around a corner, that most of the time, they're not going to come after you. So NPCs are really boring in tabletop games mostly, unless you have something which makes them, cards or dice, something which makes them unpredictable. These two dice, when they're rolled together, deliver that unpredictability. So you've got the colour class dice, and again, I'll do full videos for each of these things soon. The colour class dice, it tells you which colour the NPC will spawn as, so it's blue, green or red. There's a video showing you how you can mark your NPCs up. So it will tell you which NPCs are going to act. It'll tell you at what distances they will act. It will tell you where they will spawn from. So it could be the table edge or in the table centre. All from that one dice. And the other dice is the NPC action dice. That tells you what each class of NPC will do. So if you roll that dice and the red comes up, that means all red NPCs on the dice will do that. So if that came up on the action dice, it would be react, move, fire. So it will tell you exactly what they would do, and the distance will tell you at which distance they would move or react. So just by simply rolling those dice, it tells you exactly what every NPC on the table is going to do, and it makes them completely unpredictable. Next, you're going to get 3 cheat sheets, not just 1, 3, because it's another thing I've always found really annoying. You spend £40 on a book, or whatever your equivalent is in America, $50, whatever it is around the world, and then they ask you to download and print out your own cheat sheet, or in the case of something like, I remember the wargame rules like Black Powder and Hell Caesar, you just don't get one unless somebody makes one, which is, for the price you're paying, ridiculous. Also, because of the complexity of the rules, we wanted to make sure that everything's at your fingertips. You can get started and play really quickly. I always laugh when I'm down my local club, when I look along the tables and I can see people, and you can always tell when they're with a game they haven't played very often. It's got the book open on their lap and they spend most of the game looking like this and talking to each other, and it's like, that's ridiculous. We've just spent a little bit of money giving you 3 cheat sheets which allow you to do everything. They're colour coded, so you can see them at a glance which one you want. You've got 3. You've got this one, which is the main cheat sheet for the game. It's got indirect fire, direct fire, saving hits from fire. It's got fighting, nerve tests. So it's got the key mechanisms right there for you. The next cheat sheet has got roles on one side. So these are the roles that your team members can have. So for example, medic, weapons tech, hacker, assassin, close combat expert. And you can see from looking at your sheet, right, that's I want to activate him. He's my tactic specialist. Okay, he's a level 2 tactic specialist because I've leveled him up through the campaign. So what can he actually do? Okay, it's all on this sheet, right at your fingertips. On the other side, exactly the same for the special powers. So, for example, regenerator, time warper, mind controller, projected will. It tells you exactly what you can do at the level of power you have. And third cheat sheet, you may not use this if you don't use the NPCs, but it's the NPC cheat sheet. On this side, it shows you the profiles for the NPCs and any special skills they might have. We've tried to keep these as generic as possible. So, for example, in our world, the Vigilant are the high-tech dark opposition. So they're like the Empire in Star Wars. But you could quite easily swap them out. So Vigilant Trooper, you could swap them out for a Stormtrooper or a Cylon or a Klingon or whatever you want to do. So we've kept them generic. So, for example, you've got humanoid species, pack hunting animals, Terminator bots, timid gatherers, roaming large creatures, ancient and primitive species, human-animal hybrid, flying creatures, Kalan urban monsters and scum. You can fit anything into these for the games you want to play. Then on the other side of the NPC cheat sheet, we've got 3 spawn tables. So when you get a spawn prompt on the NPC dice, you'll use the relevant table for the game you're using to see what spawns. There are 3 tables. You've got the Vigilant, so if you're fighting that organised high-tech opposition, use that one. You've got a wilderness spawn chart, so if you're out in the wilderness, then it's got sort of more that type of NPC creature. And you've got the urban list, which is a mix of villainy and scum that you would encounter in an urban area in the future. So you've got the 3 cheat sheets. Then last but not least, you've got the book. So hardback Enderain rulebook, and we've paid a bit extra to make sure it's stitched as well as glued, so it's not going to fall apart in your hands. It's good quality, and it's just laid out so you can play the game quickly. It's not full of fluff. It's not full of, you know, stuff that you're just flicking through. We've made sure that there's a proper contents section on 4 pages, so if you need to find something, you can get to it quickly in the rules, and it's just laid out so you can get started. So it's got getting started and creating your team, nice little flow chart on how you do that. It talks about mercenaries, different types of support bots, how to use the initiative card deck, powers, setting up the game, actions, climbing, rescuing, all that sort of thing. Then it's got a big section on firing, area weapon fire, direct weapon fire, and saving from fire, because obviously in sci-fi a lot of what goes on is about using high-tech weaponry. Section on firing, on gathering loot and opening doors, hacking and data in the game, running a campaign, everything you need to know on running a campaign, and you've got the NPC rules, so several pages about how you introduce NPCs into the game, so you can use them for competitive games, you can use them as a solo option, or you can fight full co-op against the NPCs. Then you've got the weapons section, which includes the arms catalogue. What we've done, rather than just having a list of a load of pistols, we've split all the weapons down into different arms companies to give it a bit of flavour and to make it less linear. So it's like, oh, they've got a good pistol, but so have they. So it just makes it a bit more of an experience, gives it a bit more of a theme. There are about 80 different types of weapons in the game, so there's plenty of choice and plenty of differences you can build in depending on the sort of team you want to build, the sort of weapons you want to use, whether you're about fast moving, about fire support, however you want to play with your team. Then we've got a section on gears, rolls and powers, so gear items you can use, the roll tables, the powers tables, and then we finish off with the NPC spawns. So nice and simple, good quality book to round things off. So that's everything you get for your money. And there's going to be a lot more support on the website as well, which will be coming in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be example team downloads, so you can just get started really quickly, or at least see how we've built our teams. There's going to be some scenarios once we get things moving a bit better. Some sheets to help you calculate team points easily before you start writing them on your sheets. Just lots of support and tools to get you started quickly. And there's going to be support videos, little 3-minute clips on everything. So I don't know how to use the NPC dice, go and watch the video. It's all going to be there on the website. So that's Enderain. It's available now to order on enderain.com. And if you want to get started with a very different type of sci-fi game, you can use it with any types of figures and give it a try.